Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, saints and sinners, welcome to the only late night space where opinions are hot, takes are reckless, and nobody leaves untouched. This is the Black Table, the place where street wisdom meets sharp conversations, where vibes are mandatory and excuses are rejected at the door. I'm your host tonight. My name's Olamide. And, you can join us on all of these platforms. We're on DSTV channel 164, GoTV channel 16, UHF channel 49, and on StarTimes channel 121. You can also watch us on live through YouTube. It's at TVC Entertainment. And of course, I do not do this by myself. I'm going to be introducing the gentlemen who are joining me tonight. So I'm going to introduce the man to my right. I can call him my co-conspirator and co-host, the philosopher of chaos, the last of a dying breed, and the most faithful man in Lagos. Ladies and gentlemen,
I love it.
Tien Gang.
I love it. I love it.
I didn't add the mayor of Agungi though, but
no, forget that.
Yeah.
Forget that.
Let's call you the mayor of California.
Yeah. Happy May Day?
Yes.
First
happy
of
May Day to you
Workers'
too.
Day or whatever they choose to call it. It's a new month. It's always great to be on the Black Table.
All right. Nice to see you, by the way.
Same here.
Also making his debut tonight is a man who doesn't just write ideas. He turns them into reality. A seasoned copywriter, brand consultant, and a certified fixer. He has led creative teams for major brands and built a reputation for transforming concepts into culture. He's open-minded, he's adaptable, and unapologetic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be introducing to you, join us for the very first time, and hopefully not the last time, Osaze Ozymandias Iyaza.
Yeah, guys, good to be here.
I love that intro.
Yes,
Lovely.
Ozymandias.
Like I'm feeling the intro.
Ozymandias.
And especially the part about being a fixer.
Oh,
because,
yes.
I mean, things need to be fixed in this country.
Finally joining us on the table is a highly respected sound engineer, music producer, and singer, one of the most sought-after mix and mastering experts in the game. Please make some noise for the one and only Iloyi Oluwole Adebayo, popularly known as Indomix.
Indomix in the building.
Indomix in the building. At the end of the show, we'll have a hit track.
We're mixing it too. We're making money tonight, man.
Welcome. You're late.
Sorry.
There's a fine for it. Yes, there's a fine.
Yes,
right?
you must produce a sick tune for the Black Table.
Yes.
No
Yes.
problem.
Your defense should be, this is Lagos.
This is Lagos.
This is Lagos.
Lagos, yeah.
Anyway, today we're diving into a very heated reaction surrounding the controversial clash between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. That's the first leg of the semi-finals that took place in Spain. The match had set social media on fire. Now, from disputed discussions, fans were outraged. The timeline, I'm sure you guys saw some of the things for those of you who watched the game.
Yes.
Now, here are some of the comments that are making waves online. Check it out.
So it was a very interesting football match whereby there were arguments about, there were 3 penalties in the match. One was disqualified, cancelled, while 2, were converted. But the arguments were so many. So, Gang, do you want to take us through some of this, some of the tweets?
Yeah, so you can see some of the tweets. I think one of the major issues people had were like some of the penalties that were given and the penalties that were not given. And then, of course, a lot of people have been complaining about how Arsenal has been playing throughout the season and the expectations. I think most of the ruckus came because of the previous game that took place between PSG and Bayern Munich in France. And they compared that. That was a 9-goal thriller, that had Paris ended up scoring 5 goals, Bayern scoring 4 goals. But looking at the strategies with Simeone and Arteta, how they play, people didn't really expect a lot of goal tallies here.
Yeah.
You can see some of the comments on socials, on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Instagram as well. People love to mock Arsenal. We're always the butt of every joke.
But I think the officiating for that particular game was a bit dubious.
Yes, so a lot of people talked about the officiating, and I think the discussion is even still going on as we approach other league games this weekend, with the referee calling for the penalty on Eze and cancelling the penalty. For the handball, Ben White in the box, on how the ball came off from one player's leg to his hand and the natural state he was in. So a lot of people actually expected Arsenal to actually come out victorious. And they felt as if officiating resulted to a lot of pressure
let them
from the
down.
home fans and everything. But it was a great game to watch. Arsenal is always being discussed about this and that. So most of us here are Arsenal fans. So we're looking forward to see what happens come the return leg.
Yeah, hopefully we go through.
Yeah, hopefully we will get there.
I think, I mean, it was, of course, we all saw the game, and yeah, there were a bit dubious calls.
Yeah.
But again, that last one, I felt that the referee was just overwhelmed and intimidated by the home team.
I think so
Like,
too.
seriously, how do you see that as not a clear-cut penalty? Like, people, it was so clear. It was so clear. But again, when the coach puts pressure on you, and then you just recapitulate, and I mean, it just brings
But the truth be told, at the end of the
credibility.
day, it's best to try and score as many goals as you can in open play.
Of course.
I think Raya was a savior in that game for Arsenal. A lot of the
I
balls.
do not dispute that. But again, I will not tell you that the Bayern PSG game was better because I had a 9-goal trailer.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to score 5 goals and then get somebody to score 4 goals against me. That's not good gamesmanship.
Somebody said that game is the equivalent of 1-0.
Yeah,
if you really look
because
at it
why?
at the end of the
If you're a good coach and people are scoring 5 against you and then you are scoring 4, come
Yeah.
on now, what are you guys doing?
I think we all have different things we look forward to in, football.
It's good for a neutral,
Yeah.
but not good for a fan. I'm sure fans went back there with their BP
Yeah.
machines like stock from
Yeah.
their
But that's one of the fun things that happened this week.
Yes.
Before we get into some tragic gist.
Exactly. And talking about tragic gist, of course, our topic today, it's something a bit deep, and we all saw the video of a 28-year-old man in Delta State that was tied up and shot by a police officer. And of course, we also heard about a 17-year-old boy who was kidnapped and murdered by fellow young men. I mean, different stories, same sickness. Nigeria is raising killers in uniforms and killers in hoodies. Like, it's so strange. So tonight, the question is simple. Who is more dangerous? The system that is meant to protect us, or the generation that it's losing its conscience? If a policeman shoots a helpless man, that's an abuse of authority. And if a young boy is kidnapped and is killed by like teenagers, and there's a major moral collapse going on in the society. The scary part is that it's not just the killings, it's how normal they are becoming. And it's now a normal trend for you to see such things. I saw the video, and at first, I think the first few hours after the video came out, a lot of people thought it was one of those sensational videos that people put out to drive traffic to their platforms. And then a lot of people were like, oh, it's not, because it really felt unreal seeing that happen. And even though this happens, but it being recorded was something else entirely. I was devastated. I was very sad. And I feel that no human deserves to be, treated that way. So it's been a very sad week, and I feel it's something that we would not stop talking about here. Human life is important. It matters. No matter what the situation is, you can't just take, another person's life because you have the authority and the power and the weapon to do so. So I'm going to start with Indomix. You are, in the music industry, and guys like yourself and myself, and of course, Osaze, we definitely get profiled. Funny enough, let me just give a short story before you give a take. Today, when I left the office earlier in the afternoon, I was stopped by the police, and he asked for my driver's license, asked for other car documents, and I actually just, gave it to him. Then the next thing, he asked me for my roadworthiness. And I turned, I said, no, I'm not going to give you that. And he said, why? I said, because it is not in your position to ask me for that. Why are you asking for my roadworthiness? I have it right here, but I'm not going to give it to you because it's not, to give it to you. So we went back and forth. There were arguments and everything. Eventually, he was like, when the other guys came, they're like, oh, let him go, let him go. Then I was now thinking, I didn't even flash my press ID card.
You didn't
But
want to play
I now
that card.
imagined that I didn't stand on my right to
is what
defend
people
certain
go
things.
through.
It was a very, very uncalled for situation. But yes, let's talk about profiling, and then we dive back into some of the other incidents that's happened. So have you ever been profiled by the police?
Yes. But one thing about them is manner of approach at times. The way I used to answer them, so they don't used to disturb me that much. You understand?
That much, but they
much,
still get to
they
do
will
that.
still. But there are some things, you know, when police stops you, answer them. But the way you answer them, they too, they really know what they are thinking. They will observe you before they can go further. If they notice, this guy, anything can still happen, they will just let you go. But those young people out there, the way they used to, most artists that comes to my side, in my office in Festac, you know, most of them, I used to go to police station to bail them. You understand? Most of them. I used to go to police station to bail them. While coming, nothing, for no reason, they will just arrest them.
Yeah.
They will call me before I get to the place. They will pack them to the police station. So by the time they go to police station, you don't have any choice. Once they are there, you don't have any choice. You have to drop one or two things.
Yeah.
And that thing, once you drop it, even if you go back later with your connection, no evidence. You understand?
Yeah.
Those people, I don't know what to do, what we can do about them, but I just pray government should find something to do about those people.
So, Ozzy.
Yeah, I mean, it's real. It's real. I mean, it comes with the territory, of course, when you're sporting dreadlocks or long hair, or you're out of the ordinary concept of what they believe that the Nigerian male should look like, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, they'll profile you. And like you said, it depends on how you approach them. So I've learned to be respectful, to talk to them quietly, gently, let them know who you are and all that stuff. And again, there's something that works. They want to also know that this is not all of you. You have something behind you.
Yeah.
But if they know that this is all of you, you're in trouble.
You are in trouble.
If they know that, okay, this guy can bring the heavens and the rain on me, then they will just chill and let you go. I remember back in the day when I was just a young copywriter with a head full of dreams, starting out life, I was walking. That day I was not driving. I think I didn't have a car then. I think I was just starting out life in Lagos. And I was just walking, just strolling along Maryland. You know that place where you have the Nigeria map and all that stuff? Yeah. And then I was just walking. I stopped. I took a bus, to break my journey. And I was going to GRA. I was about walking to the other side. And then they stopped me, right? Imagine being stopped in the middle of that road. And they're asking you, where are you? Who are you going to? And I showed them my ID card. It was not enough. They asked me what's in my pocket. Like they put their hands in my pocket, told me to raise my hands right in the middle of the road. Yeah. Imagine that happening to you.
What year was that?
8 o'clock. That was like 2010.
2010.
2011, I think. 2010. 2010. Yeah. Okay. So that was 2010. And imagine that happening to you. But people are passing by looking at you and like, hey, yeah, fine boy. You don't enter them today. And my hands were up and they were checking my pockets. I was like, okay, I hope none of my guys have put anything in my pocket. You get?
I understand.
But it's not right. It's not proper.
It's not right.
But after that thing, what it taught me was, you need to dress to be addressed.
Yes.
So always look good, look dope, look unapproachable, like in a way that, like this guy, he's not my spec. And then even when you're driving, I took that thing with me. And when you're driving, man, just look the way and talk to them respectfully, because you don't argue with a guy with a gun.
Yeah, that's
okay. So
you
Gang,
don't.
What's your thought and what have your experiences been? In all honesty, I've met some very awesome police officers.
Yes,
I've even met a police officer that I didn't get his name. I remember that morning I was driving. I had a flat tire somewhere in Ikeja, very early in the morning, around 5 a.m. And this guy noticed that I was struggling with fixing my spare tire, and he helped me. And he wasn't waiting to collect 1 naira or anything like that. And I was like, wow, and this is a Nigerian police officer.
Yes.
I was really tripped. I was really surprised. True. So it's very upsetting when you meet the opposite, the other ones.
Yeah, so it's a case of, it's like when they say all men are this, or all women are that.
Yeah.
You see, so the rotten eggs have spoiled the entire basket.
Yes.
They've been the whole system. They've ruined it. Yes, there are a few good ones, but it's not about the good ones. Because evil excels when quiet men decide to stay quiet or do
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah.
So the big question now is that it almost seems like the Nigerian police force, are they trained to handle criminals or they're trained to handle civilians that are not criminals? Because a lot of their actions are not seen when they are handling criminals. It's when they're handling innocent Nigerians. Thank God certain things are recorded on video because some people would not have the evidence or believe that some of these things are happening in the police force. How are they being trained? Are they even being trained in the first place? But how can a trained individual have his magazine fail, remove it, take a bullet, insert it into the rifle, while you have somebody that is tied, he cannot be a threat to you. He's tied up on the floor, begging for his life. You're not
that's
listening.
an execution.
What kind of training did that person go through
straight up.
that the person decided that this is the action I need to take? And for those that didn't even follow the story, the boy did not die on the spot after being shot. He was taken away and later on shot again and killed. So it's demoralizing, the level of this abuse. This is not the first story. This is not the first time we're seeing these kind of things. And it is just so sad that this might not be the last time.
Yeah.
But I believe the policeman knows something. That's
About
the reason
the
about
situation.
the situation.
Something that they
It's
thought.
clear.
Something because the guy said he can take them to Sapele or something.
Yeah.
So why can't you wait? Let him take you to Sapele.
Yeah.
But maybe the policeman noticed
He doesn't want
maybe
him to say
he doesn't
something.
want him to go further. So you need to execute him before anything
Exactly.
again. So I believe if they torture the man, he will surely say something. He knows something. My own perspective.
Because it doesn't make any sense, you know, watching that video, watching, you know, that whole scene, everything that happened there, it made no sense. Because even if you catch someone committing a crime, what you do is you arrest and then you investigate to, you know, maybe reduce that chain of the crime spreading.
So here's my concern. Even if the young boy was a criminal,
And he was guilty.
and he was guilty.
Yeah.
We're looking at a country that's trying to, people that they're finding are catching terrorists.
Yeah.
They're giving some form of amnesty and all sorts. Even criminals are given a chance and not executed on the spot. Do you understand? What are the actions that are going to be taken or not just here? Because there is no way you can tell me that that's the first time that officer is shooting somebody like that in that kind of state.
But
obviously,
no,
this is
he's
a
not.
habit.
It's not.
I
Yeah.
believe they don't even know they are recording. Maybe the
yes,
person
I
is
think-
using.
I think
Maybe the
you
person
know,
is
they
using.
recorded, yeah.
Maybe the person is using glass.
Yeah. So you
No,
know,
because they can't-
we
I'm sure
were
the person
we were
had
even
the
talking
phone, like,
about it before the show just
Yeah.
now. I was telling you that that officer is nicknamed Ogbegbe, right? And that Ogbegbe means like is a shooter. Straight up, that's what it means. It's local parlance for a shooter, like the guy, the hitman. That's the nickname that guy.
Oh,
bears.
so that's his personality. He's known for
So he's
shooting
known, he's a
recklessly
street guy,
or executing
and that
people.
is his nickname. He's Ogbegbe, like he's the guy that is the trigger guy, right? So now this guy is known for that. He comes in. Okay, this dude is coming in and telling you that, okay, I know the guys that sent me. And if you follow that story, it's really, really sad because for a lot of people, they did not follow the story. Now, this young man, what we don't know, because of the way the economy is, people have side hustles.
Yes.
Right? So this guy, one of his side hustles is that he does weigh bills for people.
So he goes
Yes,
to pick up
He
parcels.
picks up parcels and then he gives to the, or
delivers.
is like a middleman, right? We all have side hustles. Once upon a time in my life, my side hustle was booking tickets for people. I've done that. I've done a lot of stuff. So that was his side hustle. And he kept shouting that, I know the guy that requested for this parcel. I'm not the one sending it. I'm picking it up. Let me take you to the person. And then you shot him at point blank
That's the
range.
reason why I said the guy knows
So
something.
again, when they shot him the first time, he did not die. He pretended to be dead, right? Maybe he passed out or something. And then he was shot in the arm. And they took him to the police station. Now, bear in mind that it was the area commander that requested to see this guy. So they took him to the police station. And then when they got to the police station, they realized that This guy was not dead. They were bringing him out from the vehicle. He was not dead. And then they shot him again 3 times, point blank range. How do you justify that?
So if you can see the video that's showing right now,
How
from
do
the
you
angle it's being
justify
recorded,
that?
they don't know they are being recorded.
They
Because
don't
there
know.
are people surrounding. So what would have happened?
It's probably
was that,
glasses or something.
After the incident, it would have been, oh, the guy tried to run,
and we shot him
and
dead.
then we shot him and all of that. And there's been many incidents like this, and it's really sad because the that slogan, "Police is your friend," is it really true? And they are our friends. I actually have friends in the police force. I'm not even going to. But whenever I see some of these incidents or read about it or personal experiences, it's always far to imagine that they come from the same, police.
the same court. They're
It's
caught from the same
okay,
court,
how
right?
can you be a police officer when this person is like this? What's the difference? Is it an economical thing? Because a lot of times, out of 10 police officers, about 7 are trying to hustle you. I remember there was a time I was traveling to Abuja on a Saturday. On a Friday, I dropped off a colleague and somewhere around Oshodi. And as I was dropping off the colleague, they got into my car. Conversation started going left and right.
Why
Oh, you're not
dropping
supposed to
someone
stop there and
here?
everything. I said, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I showed them my ID card and everything. You won't believe that these guys took me to a POS that night and made me withdraw money to give to them.
That's normal.
We've all been there.
And
We've
I
all
know the
been there.
funny thing. The funny thing was that I kept looking at the time. It was getting late.
True.
And I started telling myself, like, see, this thing can get ugly.
Just
I don't know what would have happened, but it
If
can
you
get
had been
ugly. And
forced to
whatever
pay.
happens, it will now be like, Omo, Yusef, use your brain. Why did you put yourself in this situation? They drove me around. Oh, let's go to this place. Let's go to that place. And that experience alone makes me wonder, like, we can talk about reforms. We can talk about incidents that happened and all of that. But if you're not paying somebody very well, I think it's like this. This is the standard of living. It's up here. This is their income. In the middle will be corruption, bad behavior, all of those things. And those are the things that I think when we're talking about reforms in the police and all of that, those are the things that needs to be looked at. Because if it's not looked at, somebody that is not earning well enough to take care of himself and his family will go out on the streets, will profile Indomix, will profile Osaze, will profile Gang, will profile me, and with the hopes of making something extra. And that is why this particular case is very sad, because I'm going to like support what you said. There's definitely more to what has been put out there, because why would you shoot?
The guy might know about the parcel.
Yeah.
I think it's clear. It's not even about remuneration, right? It's not about pay, right? If you look at this thing, this guy was shot in the arm. We all know police have this attitude of shooting people, demobilizing them first and all that. Okay, it's like it was shot in the arm.
But that is not even legal.
It's not legal. We know that. I'm not even condoning that. I'm leaving that on the side. Now you took him. Your area commander sent you on this errand. Go. I heard there's somebody that was caught with a firearm. Go bring him to me. And then you went there. You brought the guy. You shot him first. Then you take him to your boss. You're about bringing him out of the vehicle. You realize that this guy is still breathing. And then you shoot him 3 times, point blank. That means there's something you don't want your boss to know, which is why I love the way the guy reacted instantly and, remanded the 3 guys involved. And
But let's talk about those 3 guys. Gang, you know that in the video, rumor has it, we don't know for sure, that the 2 other guys, especially the one who handed the magazine and the bullet,
They're not police officers.
They're not police
They're
officers.
civilians.
It's how does that work? How does that make sense?
So this might sound funny, but the way I feel some of these people operate, they have co-conspirators. Do you understand? That are not necessarily in the force, but people that they associate with that give them certain information.
Spotters.
Do you understand? They were even saying that sometimes some of these people wear certain outfits and patrol with them to help enforce certain things. So it was very sad. The question even is it shouldn't even be if they're also police officers. Let's not take away from the crime that was committed and what is going to be done to them eventually. There's a systematic rot that can't change. Like Osaze said, it's not remuneration. See, any poor man can enter the streets and become something else. We can't use poverty and economic levels to justify certain acts. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If you want to be an armed robber, be an armed robber. Don't go join the police force and then use a gun legally to do illegal things. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Don't use
on.
that. You're a criminal,
Spot
you're a
on.
criminal. Now you're a criminal in uniform, which is
Yeah.
even more dangerous than the real criminals.
Wow, you know what? We could go on and on about this, but I'm going to take some social media feedback, and then we'll see what else we can, because it's just too ugly to really talk about. So I'm going to start with Atfola. Atfola here says, Nigeria is now a place where young men can be on the ground begging and still be shot. Mene Ogidi, which is the guy that was
the
shot.
guy?
28
So
years
sad,
old.
man.
That's someone's son, someone's hope. When did life become this cheap? We've said it on many occasions on this show that the biggest issue we have in Nigeria today is the lack of empathy. We don't value human life. So, okay, let me take that back. Some Nigerians don't value human life.
Some,
Majority
yeah.
do not value human life, and that's why things are really getting bad. We have Ashola. Ashola says, the most painful part, he was pleading and they still pulled the trigger. One person pulled the trigger. What kind of country are we building?
Multiple times.
Yes.
Can I even give you a perspective? Now, you know Mene Ogidi, right? That's a young man. I mean, we should remember that name. Mene Ogidi is the second son of his mother that
Yes.
was shot.
Yes. Allegedly,
the
that's
first
the information
one
going around.
was killed a few years ago. And this woman is wailing that, why my two sons? Like, why these guys? And again, this is a young, promising guy that even if he was guilty of the crime he was
Yeah.
suspected of,
Yeah.
it's not a capital punishment crime. Yes, you have firearms. There's a punishment for it.
Yeah.
We have people that go to jail and come out
There's a
and still
legal
become
process,
useful
yeah.
to society. You're killing him. This guy was an artist. Indomix,
Yeah,
I don't know if you're aware.
I heard,
he has
I
two
heard.
songs that,
I
of
heard.
course, he was still on the ground and trying to, make something
Promote
of himself,
himself, yeah.
and trying to, build.
Hustle
But
on the side and then,
again,
do what he really
That's
wants to do.
story.
There's something behind that thing.
It's
not-
clear now. I mean,
very, very
it's
clear.
bright
There's
as
something.
day. You just don't want the guy to croak and say, who sent him.
Yes. So I'll take two more comments, and then we can further on the conversation. We have Atbenga. Atbenga says, we shout it's well after every killing, then we move on. That's why nothing changes until Nigerian lives matter to Nigeria. Sadly, this will continue. Thank you, Atbenga. And then let me take one more. This is from Daniel. Daniel says, Olamide, police brutality is no longer shocking in Nigeria. That's the real problem. We become used to it, and that's dangerous. And I think that is one of the reasons why I reacted the way I reacted today, because normally I do converse with police respectfully, because I understand that they're out there to protect lives, properties, and some of them are fantastic human beings. I've had conversations
no doubt.
with very interesting police officers, and then we'll laugh and talk about football and talk about some things. And sometimes if they can even disturb you, you don't pass again. Yeah, my bottle water that you promised me the other day. You understand? So they are human beings like us, and we do it. We do respect people generally, and of course, people in uniform, police officers are respected by majority of Nigerians. Not necessarily out of fear. But, I mean, that's the right thing to do. So, when that incident happened today, it was just like a reminder of the abuse of the authority. No, you can't do that. You have certain things you can ask for as a police officer, and I will oblige. But there are certain things that you can't ask for because you imagine that I'm not an informed person. Because if you're asking me for a document that has nothing to do with the police,
has no business.
you understand? That you
place.
think I'm not informed, and that's why and that is somebody taking an advantage of a situation. Because if me too had panicked, like, okay, and I gave it to you, and okay, you've gone through it, you now ask me for something else. So I put a stop to it there and then, like, sorry, Oga, you're not supposed to ask for that. That is not part of the documents that the police require. So why are you asking me for it? And then he started making trouble. So there and then I knew his intentions were wrong. He looked at me, he profiled me, he felt, okay, let me stop this person. I'll ask for this, I'll ask for that. At the end of it all, if he has all of those things, I'll move on to something else, come down from your
Fire
vehicle,
extinguisher,
let's stop and search. And, you know, normally, if you're stopped by the police, it should not be a big deal. Because if you're not carrying anything illegal, if you're, you know, if you understand, you should be able to, but all the excesses is now why people are afraid of the police. People are afraid of the police because it's no longer about, am I safe? It's about how can I keep myself safe?
It's about I don't want to be next.
I don't want to be next. Exactly.
I don't want to be next because it can happen to anyone. It can happen to any one of us at any given time. That's how rotten the police corps has gotten. The expectations. This is Friday night now. I am telling you that by the time we go out now, the number of people we're going to meet on the road is another thing. So there's this fear that anything can happen. Will it be my turn today? That's the point we have gotten to. Will I escape alive? Will they shoot? So those are the fears that have been put into our system. And I just feel it's also a system of control. That you make a system so rotten that the mass population have this mindset
already,
Do you understand? That will be used to always keep them in check. Because if you cannot trust the police, you cannot love the police, then what does that say about your society?
And you know, it's really sad because out of 10 people, about 8 of us will come and tell you about very horrible
bad stories about the police.
You know, and this is not, it happened to somebody else. You have those experiences, so you're like...
I was telling you, I said, first of all, rule number 1, don't argue with a man with a gun.
Yes, don't argue.
You don't even want to know what he's taking. It's the middle of the night. You should have pulled your media card. He's telling you all that stuff. You don't argue with him.
But the thing is this, there's no need for you to pull a media card when you know you've not committed any offense.
But again, he's a man with a gun that you are not sure is rational.
Let me share a story with you. True life story that happened when I was a teenager in secondary school here in Lagos. On Sani Sufafunwa, there was a police person in the night. Me and my friends were out. Now, what we were doing, we shouldn't have been out at that time as teenagers because of, can I say, the working ladies on the street at the time. I was flogged. Me and my friends were flogged. Were flogged by a police person just because he was trying to trying to impress
those ladies.
What do we call them? Ashawos. They were trying to impress them. I was flogged. Do you understand? And he cocked his gun so that we won't run. And we were young teenagers. And he now said before he's going to let us go, he's going to flog everybody five times.
Wow.
Brought out his koboko whip. We were just walking trying to buy bread and suya. We were just buying bread and suya. We were young boys in the night.
See, I remember there was this incident that happened when I was also very young. They found a dead body very close to
we have stories though.
To one of my neighbor's house. What happened that day, I will never forget. If by chance you were coming back from school, you were passing by, you were sent on an errand, they arrested over 20 young people. They were just picking young boys randomly.
Which is why we don't even give the police information anymore because you are the first suspect.
And you know, it was so traumatic because nobody really knew what was going on. Everybody just thought they were reading because maybe there was something, maybe they caught some boys doing some things. But by the time a lot of parents discovered what had happened, the police said that, okay, they found a dead body somewhere. And the right thing was to look for witnesses. Of course, they wouldn't, that's not the best way to, you just picked up random people who had no idea what was going on. And then everybody built themselves out.
How are they being trained?
Like, are you investigating that?
You know one thing about those policemen? If anything happens, it's not the solution they were looking for. They want to look for. They're looking for what to put in their pocket because they will first arrest everybody because they know that once you want to go back home, you surely be yourself.
So isn't part of the reform, you know, like checking? I know, yes, but I still feel like somebody who's not earning good money, will always have a way of finding how to squeeze it out of other people, especially when this person has the tools and the authority to do such things. I remember when I was in the University of Lagos, I was coming back from school. A policeman that was not wearing a uniform stops it randomly and he says I should bring out things in my pocket. At first I was like, why? I'm you that boy now. I'm like, why? Because he didn't even introduce himself. He didn't identify himself. I had to tell the guy. I remember I was like maybe 20 then. I told the guy, like, you didn't identify yourself. You didn't tell me you're a police officer. You just stopped and you said,
I
should.
I can
He didn't
remember.
identify
I can
himself.
remember. I've slapped someone like that. He was a policeman then, but he wasn't wearing uniform. I noticed he was a policeman, but because he wasn't wearing uniform, I just took the advantage. Bah, bah. But by the time all those will come, I said, I don't
Which
even
advantage? Let's be clear.
know. Advantage, as in, I slapped the person.
Ah.
But he wasn't wearing
He did not
uniform.
know now.
I didn't know.
He did. Yeah, he felt
But I
it was like
just
the streets.
later I
So
said he's
he-
a policeman. I said you should have said that earlier.
Not collect.
You want to rob me now? You understand? At the end of the day, people around now came. They were like, you are not supposed to see what he was. He was roughing me.
Yeah.
So he's on
You look like
mufti.
you're
How am I
robbing now.
supposed
You
to
look
know?
like a robber now.
Though we both said to it, but that one he collected it.
So gang, let me ask you this question
So
before
that's
we
just
wrap
it.
up. Do you think the PR department of the police is doing enough to even
No.
put out enough information on
No.
what the police should do?
No.
So that, because the thing is this, there are certain things that people do not know that is their right. And yes, there are definitely bad eggs in the police force.
Yeah.
But do you think the PR should do way more and put out more information?
They definitely have to do a lot more to sensitize people and apologize for certain things to make it right. The system needs to work. People need to be
trust the police.
retrained to
Yeah.
trust the police and know that the police is actually your friend. One of the funniest things I've seen in the police station was where they boldly printed that bail is free, knowing that, come on, it's barely
Even if they
there.
want to do those things, if they want to prosecute
understand?
them, they should make it open to people that they are
Yeah.
prosecuting them.
So,
You know,
so-
at the end of the day, at times you will just hear that they have been sentenced. But at the end of the day, maybe after some years, you now see them again.
So I think, like what Gang is saying, it starts from the top, actually. I don't know, we are trying to sugarcoat a system that see, the onus is on the top man. A gang of dogs led by a lion will always trump a gang of lions led by a dog. Like, it behoves on the leader. Who is your leader? If you know that this stuff is going on in your house, you clean your house.
Exactly.
Why are
And
we
then
hearing stuff? I'm
one of-
relying on, I have 1,000 different options online that, they've arrested the man. I don't want to hear that.
it should come
There should
from
be
the
a
PR.
strong
Like, okay,
deterrent.
yeah.
Now
Yes.
the PRO should be I should get a statement
All the real-
from the, who is the
from-
Inspector General of Police? Why has he not made a statement on this? Do you get
Yeah, people need to hear
So
certain things
we need
so
to
that they
take
can have more
hard
belief in
line.
the
Yes,
system.
exactly.
You said something about there being good cops. I know some really fantastic cops.
But
There are
IG
these
spoke
guys-
about it too. So IG spoke about it. That was it yesterday?
Are we following up the case? Like, what has happened now? We just heard that he has been taken arrested and all that. We are hearing different trickles of information. There should be steady news reports. Like, we should have daily briefings on this issue.
Because you know that it's little things like this, right, that generated to an end SARS movement.
Yes.
It's little things like this.
And do you know what?
These
Let me
things
go-
are continuing in
sorry,
different...
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you.
Yeah.
Do you know this guy is one of those that was protested against during the end SARS? This guy was a former SARS officer.
Oh, I see.
This shooter was a SARS officer. From SARS,
No,
he was moved to RRS.
most of them, they
And
shoot
then
them
he
to-
has,
Yeah, they
he
just
has
moved
kept-
them to
so we
different squads.
protested against SARS, and then they just evolved and gave them new sobriquets, and they moved them along. But they carried that same attitude. We have great police officers. I can tell you some. I encountered, like, sometime last year, there are these guys at Ikeja under bridge on the right. If you're coming from General Hospital, right? It was like in the middle of the night. I had a flat tire, like right on that road, and I just made and parked beside them. And you know, these guys told me, no, don't do anything. They called a vulcanizer. They settled, they handled everything. And even whatever I gave them was free will. It was out of...
They didn't ask for
They did not
anything.
ask for anything.
Yeah.
They took me. We just did all the tours. They called the vulcanizer. They said, why are you jacking the cars? Don't stress yourself. They got the guy to do everything. And it was a wholesome experience. And that's the experience I want to be having with my police officers.
officers, yes.
Because I was there in the middle of nowhere.
Some are very nice.
I
Some
wanted,
are
I
very
was like,
nice.
okay, see police here, let me just bend. And I bent to them, and they really helped
And
me.
if, like, something happened, I have to say this, because, like we've all
shout out to
established,
those guys,
majority of them can be funny, but there are some of very, very good police officers. I remember I took the wrong turn like 2 months ago, somewhere on the island here. I took the wrong turn. I was using my Google Maps,
Yeah.
and I took the turn, not knowing that I was supposed to take another turn, because I didn't know that route very well. And these guys, the bike police, the biker police, they followed me.
Oh.
They tried to stop me when I took that one. So me, I just waved like, yay, but I didn't know that I had made the wrong turn. So when I noticed that they kept following me, I now turned on my hazard. I slowed down. I got there.
Waited.
The guy came to the window. I put my window down. He said I should open the door. I asked why. He explained. He said, you've taken the wrong route. You shouldn't have taken that route. That's
Like
one
a one way.
I said, oh my God. That I was wondering why you guys were following me. He said I should open the door. So I opened the door. He sat inside. First things first, I'm not even supposed to open the door. But the way he was talking to me, I realized that he was a very sensible person. And I showed him, like, look at the maps. You can see the
He was
direction
the
and everything.
road, yeah.
That because they were constructing certain roads. So the map probably
Actually
just tried to
redirected you through
redirected
that
me.
route.
But
Yeah.
They
still,
were
I won't
supposed
blame
to
the map.
correct
I
you.
think my not
Which is what
knowing
he
that
did.
route very well made it difficult. But this guy talked and he gave me a warning. He said, Oga, please don't do it again. Google or no Google, you're not supposed to take that route. And the guy left. He didn't ask me for 1 naira. So, you know, there's some very, very good people out there from the police force. Very good people. On that note, gang, you give us just a tip for the evening, and then we wrap up the show.
What kind of tip can I possibly give after a discussion like this? The Nigerian police force should do better. If you want us to have any form of hope or system in the country that works, it has to start from somewhere. They really just need to do better. I don't know what kind of tip I can give after a discussion like this. The police force needs to do better to reinforce the trust that the population should have on the police force. You know, that's
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So tonight we didn't just talk, we told the truth, the kind that makes you uncomfortable, the kind you can't ignore, because the black table was never built for comfort. It was built for clarity. We are the stories, we are the power, we are everything in between. And every time we sit here, we remind ourselves our voices matter. So thank you, Indomix. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. And of course, Ozymandias.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for
having
joining
me.
us. And of course, my co-conspirator and co-host over there, Tien Gang, thank you very much.
Namaste.
It's been such an enlightening evening. Hopefully next week we'll have something a bit more fun, not too sad.
Less police.
Juicy
Yes,
and
let's-
raunchy.
What he said. But till then, I'll say be good. And if you are not good, do not be caught. All right, good night, everyone.